Good morning.
Doc, I hope you're well.
I'm doing okay.
It's been quite a while since we spoke.
Yeah, sometimes you have to lay low small.
Well, first, let me start by asking you what your thoughts are, because I'm sure you're monitoring what the whole discussion around and the kind of media content that's been produced from the area that have been flooded as a result of the spillages from the Akosombo Dam. What do you think about everything you've heard so far?
Oh, it's a tragedy, really. It's a tragedy because we have a meteorological service in this country. They tell us what's coming. These days they've been a lot better than before. And when it comes to rain, they're pretty good. They'll be telling us it's raining tomorrow, to next day, so forth. Then the Water River Authority tell us the height of the lake is going up, going up, going up. This is all a warning to us for those who are supposed to take action. Then you sit there and the spills over. We are talking about one district, one dam. Here is a whole district, one dam, big one. You need the money. You need the money in the water. That's why you want a dam. Now you already have a dam. And you allow it to spill over, killing people, displacing people, and going to waste. What were you talking about one district, one dam for? Here it is. Do something. For nothing else, they could have pumped the water to certain areas of the country. Of course, I know it's expensive, but this is what development entails. They didn't think about these things, except slogans: one district, one dam, one village, one dam, whatever. This is what has happened. Now we're talking about relief effort. Why? We don't wait for this to happen before we do a relief effort. It comes in relief effort when it's an emergency. This cannot be an emergency. It is an emergency now, but coming together is not an emergency because you saw it coming and you did nothing. It's a travesty. It shouldn't happen. It's very, very sad. It's almost as if we don't have a government. Whatever happens, happens, and we keep going. It is not good at all.
In fact, there has been calls for the boss of the VRA to resign. He's thrown his arms into there and virtually suggested that it's not his fault. In fact, nobody's taking responsibility for what happened. You seem to be convinced that this cannot be an emergency. They saw it coming. Who do you think should be responsible for? Should be held responsible for this?
Because you see, when you're going to have flooding and it's from rain, it's not sudden. You see, it rises gradually until it gets to the catastrophic level. And they didn't see anything. They didn't have any warning. They just go to meetings and get paid. That's all. No, it's not acceptable. Any normal country will not accept this, and people will have to answer to it. If it is the board, what was their job? Or were they sitting there for? It is the CEO and all the managers of the lake. I'm sure they have special personnel for the level of the lake. And what were they doing? Now people's lives are turned upside down. We are talking about relief efforts as if we are in Ethiopia somewhere. It's not acceptable at all. It isn't. I don't know what we're going to do. This is how we become. Everybody pushes the blame to somebody else. Nobody is responsible. So when it's coming, all they are thinking about how are we going to defend ourselves, not how are we going to stop it. And it goes everywhere in this country. That's how it is. I don't know what to do. I'm just sad, you know. Sometimes I don't watch the news because of these things. Why? Why can't we do anything right? Why can't we do anything right? Why? Is there something wrong with us? I say we never went to school, no sense, no knowledge. Why? What is education for? That's my problem. So when I watched this initially, I haven't watched it again. Except today I heard they are going to the Ministry of Information. And what were they? All this time, what were they? They just showed up.
But what do you think can be done because you seem to have arrived at the conclusion, and correct me if I'm wrong, that we failed from the beginning. Can we do anything to rescue, at least salvage what is left?
What can we do? Can we wipe away all the water family? We can't. Can we pump away all the water? We should stop that. to find a solution of pumping water to faraway places so that the drying increases speed. And that we're not doing. We're just waiting for God to do it, for nature to take its course. At that time, a lot would have been gone. People would have died. Their lives turned upside down. That's what I see. We have a president who doesn't do anything. Just won't go around giving speeches. That's it. Now, in front of you, here. No. The important thing he doesn't want to do. The unimportant thing, that's what he's interested in. It's pathetic. Pathetic. But what else can I say? If you keep talking about this, you will have tears, you will cry. But it does nothing. There's no good, nobody listens. They do what they want. This is the country we have made for ourselves. And we don't even know that we can make changes. So we just sit there day by day and watch it crumbling. And that's what it's doing now, crumbling gradually. You heard yesterday's news. If we don't pay some judgment debt money, then we lose the Ghanaian embassy in UK. Why? Why would the whole country sit there and let this happen? Why? And you just wait. By the time this is over, you will see the corruption in it. And some of our own people may be in it, instigating them to do this and do that. Let's pay the money quickly because it's time to get some out of it. That's what's going on. You understand? You go after Professor Adair because he says MPs are taking back 10%, whatever. No. Is this the first time you heard this in this country with all the malfeasance and thievery that's going on? This is surprising to you? Why would it be surprising to you? Why? All the schemes the government itself keep cooked up. Why would you be surprised about this? Just to bully people, just to silence people. We are not going to be silenced. We are not. The country does not belong to them. They should be informed. The country does not belong to them, and we are not all fools. We are not. We campaign for the man who is president now. He didn't campaign just for himself. He has only one vote. He didn't vote for himself. We made him president. You cannot bully people.
How should leadership react in the face of this?
So you should be outraged. That's all. There's nothing else. Outraged. How can you sit there all this time and allow this to happen? It rained just 1 hour. That's what happened. It's a long time in coming. But now with the link, this is actually the first time I've heard it. The first time that this episode is all around us. Wait down, move, run for your life. Everybody runs away. Wait down. The lake is coming. The lake is coming. Boogie down. They say, run for your life. Run away. The water goes, hey! And we're talking about one district, one dam. Why? Just to get votes. But we don't mean it. Because we don't mean it, when we have the real thing there that we can do something with, we don't do it. Because the slogan is gone already. It's really disheartening. It's shameful. Shameful. I don't know what I can say. And so I try not to think about these things too much. Don't watch the TV all the time. But it comes. It's not just water. This is the first time I heard the lake. It was free. Most of the time, the water level is too low. It's dangerously low. Or now, it's come up. And that too is stressing. How? What do you want? You don't have enough water. You try to go. It gives you enough water. You don't do anything with it, and then it goes to waste and kill people. Why? What do you want? You want God to come down himself and do it for you now? Because you don't have any brains? Please.
Well, let me move on to another discussion, because I just saw an article which you've written. You're asking that we should be careful the kind of precedents we set. And your particular reference point, it has to do with the state burial that we understand of giving to Mrs. Kufuor. You seem to disagree with that. Why?
Oh, many reasons. Of course, I didn't state all of them in the little article. I just wanted former President Kufuor to think about it and on his own way change it. And you don't have time to change it. And I think you should change it because that is the only way that will show that he's really a good president, is concerned about his people. Look at this country. We are in a sorry state. Young people are leaving in droves. Teachers, nurses, you name it. Anyone who can leave is leaving because the economy is so bad. What can the president do about it? Talk is not going to do it. If you tell people don't leave, they won't mind you. Don't even do what? Because you see the thing, there's no job. So they will leave. Well, you are former president, you were well paid, you were respected, myself included, and then your beautiful wife dies, and the president, I'm sure, knew Teresa when they were in London, so they are friends in a way. And then he says, I'll give Teresa a state burial. But the country doesn't belong to the president and his friends. You don't do that. You don't get to do whatever you want if you are president. You rule by laws. Now, she's the first lady, former first lady. If you bury her, give her a state burial. What about the rest of them? All of them, you're going to give them a state burial. Is it the president now that if the first lady that you have to give her a state burial, or you have to be friends with the president before you give her a state burial? How is it going to work? And the cost of it. I mean, look, if someone like Teresa dies, they take her to her hometown. The whole town is involved. This is a town's daughter. You understand? The whole town is involved. The chief, you name it. The former presidents there alone will bring a lot of people, myself included, and we pay money, happily pay money to see her off. Why would you offer to give you a state burial? I think we can do it ourselves. What do you get from doing that? Except spending more money needlessly. What is it? I don't understand it. As a matter of fact, if the family does this in their own hometown, it's a lot better for the town and the family than state burial. By the time they finish with the state burial, they'll bring a bill of 3 million cities. You watch and see. What is it? Why would you want to do that? This is a personal responsibility of former President Kufuor and his well-wishers, his wife's well-wishers. That's what it is. This does not concern the state directly like that, like the former president himself dying. No. For him, when he dies, he has to be given a state burial because he belongs to Ghana. We voted for him to be the leader. He didn't vote for his wife. So this is the former president's responsibility. But you jump in front of, I'll give her a state burial. Why? There are things needed. Young people don't have any jobs. You voted down that you should keep your eyes on, fix this problem. This one is not your problem. It's not a government problem. It's a personal problem. And we will happily give that lady a befitting burial, most likely even better than the so-called state burial. And cheaper too, more dignified and cheaper. No, you have to take yourself in it because you ought to endear yourself to someone, or I'm sure they all lived in London, so maybe he knows Mrs. Kufuor fine. But that in itself does not mean you get to do whatever you want. You rule by rules, not what you want. And that's what I'm cautioning people with this President Kufuor. President Kufuor likely can stop him. Not as if they are fighting. No, thank him for that gesture. It's a nice gesture, but let me bury her myself. Because he too is a leader, former president. If you are not careful, you are giving the indication that in Ghana, only the big guys are important, or we should care about only the big guys. Why? That is the message is going out. And I hope he takes that advice and politely thank the president, but say no thanks. We will do it ourselves. There's nothing wrong with it. It's not a slight against the president. It's the right thing to do. Don't set these precedents. So another first lady died. Oh, she didn't get any state there. What are we going to say? We will do this now. From now on, all of them should get it. That's the problem. We don't have money. And our present situation does not allow us to do such things. It is not modest. And people are starving. You're using the money for state burial. When family and friends, siblings can do it themselves. It is not acceptable. This is what I'm saying. It's a nice gesture, but not a necessary gesture.
Nice, but not necessary. And you said the precedents will have been set. So once he does this, every other first lady that dies must be given the same treatment.
Well, yes, you are bringing strife among us now. Why didn't she get it? Why? Who decides? We decided Teresa should get it. Mrs. Mahama, if his husband is not in office. Sorry, Mrs. Mahama, not that I want to kill you. No, I'm just using her as an example. A fine woman. We are all fine women. But the country is in trouble. And we are using money on not very important things. State burial is not very important. Actually, it's not enjoyable. When you finally put the deceased in the ground, the rest is celebration of the person's life, especially for an older person like Teresa. That's what it is. We parade the children, the grandchildren, great-grandchildren, nephews, all of them are in it. You bring state burial, you stop all of this. It is not a good idea. We should do their own.
Doc, thank you. Thank you very much for speaking to us.
Thank you, too.
Dr. Richard Amoako Baah is a political scientist speaking to us on two issues, and clearly is disappointed on the issue of the floods and what has happened. He believes that you cannot say it was an emergency. No, you see water rises gradually. You saw it rising. You saw it when it started rising. You saw it when it got to the levels that were unsustainable. You did nothing about it. So it is not an emergency. They should have known and should have prepared adequately. And he's also saying and cautioning against moves to give former First Lady Teresa Kufuor a state burial. That once you do that, you have to give every other First Lady that passes on after her a state burial. Well, we'll take a break. We'll be right back.
Madam, Mame Gobe 5 cedis.
No, me dafo. Any koko sing.
Koko 3 cedis. Madam, me say 5 cedis.
No, ma we am wonsho. Ahadie, ye gini bin. Me teste Betika. Me boo.
Season, I said it because at Betika, the winning never stops.